It's Nerd 30. So come one, come all to the nerdiest show of them all. The Omega level nerds are ready to talk nerdy to you. Yes, that is indeed correct. The Omega level nerds with you, D Square and Volsker, here to talk to you tonight about something that kind of caught me by surprise, to be quite honest with you. Even though I'm a huge Star Wars fan, I did not have much expectations for the Star Wars Visions, which is an animated project where a different studio would animate and do Star Wars stories that really have nothing to do with the main canon or timeline. In fact, with each one of these shows, which none of them have anything to do with one another, where they fit in a timeline, era, universe, it's pretty ambiguous, to use a big word there. I've got through the whole series. Volsker's got through about half, like the first four.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I did not expect much. Just from what you saw, though, I guess, what are your initial thoughts? Were what you expected better or worse?
I mean, I think it was really cool. I like the kind of anthology type approach, very similar to what Netflix is. I can't remember the name of it, but the Machine one, where it's just different series and
Mm-hmm.
different stories set alone. Some may cross, some may not. I think it's really sweet. The animation is all over there from different styles, from comic booky to modern day like anime, and you can plainly see inside of the cast and crew. There was definitely Japanese studios working on this. I mean,
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
Japanese dubbed version. And I have to say, from the first four, my favorite so far is 3, but both 3 and 4 is the most Japanese shit I have seen ever. Taking, like an American franchise and altering it. But I fucking loved it. I want to finish it, and I hope it gets a following, so maybe we can get something more out of this. Can it lean towards like a reboot or something? Something
Yeah.
new. But when it comes to the shows, Disney's fucking killing it when it comes to
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Um, for sure, people's opinions about the sequels, uh, you know,
Like the editor from the original.
well, the average tomato meter is 95% on this. Average audience
Nice.
score 77%. So pretty positive there on the good old Rotten Tomatoes.
What's the critic score?
I wish I hadn't exited out of that too fast.
Because
I'll
if
be
it's
honest with you.
77 with a 95 total, I bet you critics are loving it.
Yeah, that's all that it showed there. I will tell you. So it did certainly go beyond my expectations. I thought it looked cool, but I also thought it was wacky lightsaber show. It looked like, right? Like that's what you saw, that umbrella like lightsaber that's in the very first episode. Which, by the
Yep.
way, you talk about the animation. I will say, I do not like the animation of the first episode. I thought everything else was pretty cool. I hated the black and white. Now it's not completely black and white. The lightsabers, any sort of light, whether it be on a droid or on a wall or something like that,
The
that's
lightsaber
there.
was huge. Like with the
Yeah,
light, you could see like the red hue going over the white drawings.
yeah,
For those who aren't familiar with what he's talking about, take the old classic TMNT Ninja Turtles comics with the shading and
right.
literally animate that.
which I hate. I hate that shading. I hate that overshading. I hate that. Well, it's black and white, so we'll just make most of it black anyway. I hate it. I crush comic books.
It
At
looks
least
like it
the
was been drawn
artist.
with a pencil.
Yeah, yeah. I crush comic books when I review them, and they have that. Uh, but okay, it was still cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, and on Rotten Tomatoes here, I'm just seeing the 95% average tomato meter, 77. I don't have a critic score here, and maybe I just don't know how to navigate Rotten Tomatoes well enough. But nonetheless, positive stuff. Really crazy shit that you see, but this is literally might be like my favorite Star Wars thing. That's how good it gets. Admittedly, episode 2 I don't like. You could skip that one for all I care. Basically centers around what I think is a Padawan that escaped Order 66. Teams up with this hut that, is not trying to be a hut. Instead of trying to be in this rock band. And so they're in this band that everyone seems to like, but they can't finish a show because there's always a bounty hunter or some shit coming after the hut that's in the band.
Oh, an interesting tidbit. So when I said the most Japanese shit ever, so correction, the Vision story is 7 different Japanese only animation studios. So there's no American studios touching this. It's all Japanese.
I'm about to say, because yeah, the Japanese keeps going after episode 4. What's great about that is, some of you may not know, is that Star Wars, the look of Star Wars, the look of Darth Vader is actually inspired by Japanese culture. Darth Vader is basically modeled to look like a samurai, like a space samurai. So it really is
I mean,
cool.
even the mythos of the Force and everything, the
Right.
sword, the lightsabers, like a lot of that stems from that culture.
Yeah, yeah. And so it is cool to see them kind of take it back and we see it through that lens, because I think it's very cool. Again, it is very ambiguous to where it is in the timeline. Some of this doesn't even seem to be in the same universe. So I'm getting a lot of cool, like, Old Republic vibes. I really am. Because it's just, you could do anything. They're just doing whatever they want here. Because, yeah, there's the Empire, right? So in every story, there's the bad guys, and the bad guys are stormtroopers and Sith.
Yeah.
The Republic doesn't seem to be functioning, although it gets mentioned. And there's Jedi, but we're not talking about, like, Jedi that have gone, like, through the Jedi Temple. Like, most of these seem to be way into the future, where Jedi are basically a myth, although, well, certainly a good number of them seem to be around still. But they're not like, the typical Jedi. One of the episodes, like, the Jedi is like, oh, lightsabers have been extinct, and, it's a mythical weapon, but they're Jedi because they can use the Force. But the lightsabers don't work the way that they work in the canon universe. A lightsaber gets its
Very
color.
anime style.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like if fans of like Gundam and like blasters and like just other shit like that, like you can see like they took the inspiration from popular anime and mixed it with this franchise.
Yeah, and it's fucking awesome. I love it. Again, the lightsabers color and shape differ depending on who's wield it and their connection and level of force.
Well, look, take the Kyber crystal. It powers lightsabers, but the whole crystal is seen like this ultimate weapon of mass destruction, and they put it in a fucking mech suit,
Yeah.
and it starts whipping out fucking lightsaber whips and shit.
Yeah,
Like it's a core. I was like, okay, that is some Japanese shit.
Yeah, it's like some crazy super arc reactor.
It was fucking great. I love it. And for
But
those
yeah,
that
it
are
makes for
listening,
some awesome fights.
we say like total Jap, like we are anime fans, so when
Yeah.
we say it with absolute compliment
Oh,
because
it's great.
great.
It is great. I mean, it really is. And I'm not going to spoil everything here. I'm trying not to spoil a whole lot. And since it's not really one continuous story, there's no really reason to
Yeah.
go through every sort of thing. But it's a lot of cool fucking anime fights, lightsabers that look more like the dark saber that you saw in the Mandalorian, or they look more like katanas.
Put your
Uh,
power behind your lightsaber to make it grow stronger and more
yeah,
powerful.
yeah, exactly. And like you
Ah,
said, Gundam. It reminds me of Epion and his sword that's tied right to his power source and grows.
if
As you
this
put
is
more power into the.
popular, and I'm gonna toss this out there to you, D, would you be okay with them dabbling something like this with Marvel?
What do you mean? Dabbling like just
Like
crazy
taking some of
you?
the stories, like because we've had Avengers and Wolverine and Blade in anime form, but
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see like them kind of dabble some things in the MCU, and it doesn't have to be like straight MCU. It could be almost like what if kind of,
Mm-hmm.
but more of an anime style versus like what we're getting with what if and things like that.
I mean I would, and just me personally, especially with seeing what, because let's face it, I liked this animation more than I liked the CGI Clone Wars shit. These fights just look way cooler animated like this. So I'm
Oh
loving it.
yeah,
So would
you
I
don't like
want to
that
see that?
Americanized like computer like it
I mean, it's
looks.
okay, but after seeing this, I'm like, yeah, the fights don't look nearly as cool. I mean, I hope you guys can tell. I'm excited. I love this. I hope this does get expanded because this shows you how the Star Wars universe is really just this big sandbox with all this cool mechanism for storylines and shit. Like it doesn't, the Skywalker name is not mentioned all in this.
Mm,
But to your question, so would I like to see? Yes, I would like to see Marvel go in this direction. I honestly would. I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily want to say, okay, everything's Japanese style, but I do think that this would look better visually for the comic book stuff than the live
mhm.
action CGI stuff does. So absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to see that.
And even see like it because we were talking and I was it the producer or I can't remember said it's not canon yet, which you've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Like they won't say yes or no. And honestly, while I think it would be cool if it was, I hope it's not because if it's not and it does well, stopping them from going back to the legacy books and start giving us content from that.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Like feed people, I know these books aren't canon anymore, but you guys love this story. Let's do something here. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's my hot take of the night is I actually think that there's a pretty big purpose around this. Now, I know it's being framed as like, oh yeah, look, let's let these Japanese studios, go crazy. But like I said, Skywalker's not mentioned.
mhm,
Although the timing of these episodes seems ambiguous, most of them seem as though the Jedi and the conflict and the war that we know is ancient history. So to me, I think this, if it is successful, this will show that we can move on in Star Wars and
mhm.
not be tied to Skywalker, Palpatine, none of that. We can just go. You know, the Empire or equivalent exist. The Republic slash Rebellion equivalent exist.
And we
There's
just
not
happen
a.
to get a Knights Old Republic announcement for a remake. I mean, come
Yeah,
on,
exactly.
like, because Disney has control, like, they could tell them no
Right.
because of what they do now. Like, or could this be could this be a prequel to the long lost Zack Snyder samurai Star Wars film?
Dun dun dun. It could. That's a great point. Because
We'll learn what that blue
that
shit is.
yeah. What the blue shit? Yeah. Yeah, the Jedi are samurai
Yeah.
in Star Wars vision. So that could super work. And The only tie, because I keep saying it's got nothing to do, they don't say Skywalker, it's got nothing to do. There's a couple of ties to the known canon, but this is in one or two episodes. That's the fact that the Separatists are mentioned. The war's mentioned, so that's kind of ambiguous. We don't know if it's the war. And Boba Fett is in the second episode, which, by the way, not my, we could
out.
omit that one. Yeah, that one's totally like, okay, that's like a Teen Titans Go.
Was that his voice actor,
bullshit.
Though? It sounded like him.
If it wasn't him, it was a very good impersonator. But why wouldn't it be? Yeah.
Yeah, he's recording shit for his fucking show anyways.
Yeah. Episode 3, though, is like, okay, this is cool. Let's see if, we stick to this. And we pretty much do. There's only one other animation style that they use that I didn't like. And I believe it was episode 6, which is all based on... wait till you watch it, because you're going to get Mega Man. At least I do. I get Mega Man, Dr. Light, Mega Man vibes. Because it's pretty, but that's a pretty. I didn't like the animation style. It was an okay episode though. It was still cool, still an awesome looking fight at the end. But then after that, it continues to be just fucking awesome. I mean, and and each episode is only 15 to 22 minutes long, and you have no backstory whatsoever on any of these characters other than what you learn in the episode. And I still feel that you learn enough and get invested in the characters and are really invested in each one of these stories, although they're separate and you don't even get a lot of time to dive into it.
Quality writing.
Yeah.
And that's why, going back to like anime and stuff, like, yeah, you got Dragon Ball, which is when you had all 3 and the one that shall not be named, you got what, 600-700 episodes and stuff, but and that's why I like this, because when you do things like this and you bring in that style and you have good quality writing, you can make a connection with the characters in 5 minutes. You could see what they're for. And if it's something like, the first episode where, okay, you think he's just a samurai, but then he's like, oh, do this while it's boiling, then you find out like he's a master, but then you go, okay, fuck, his lightsaber's red. Is he a Sith? Like, and then she called him basically a traitor. So like, okay, is he a deserter of the Sith? Then you see he's hunting Sith and he has all their Kyber crystals. Like, just shit like that. It's awesome, and that's why, going back to your point, we don't need the Skywalker name. You could take fresh perspectives, fresh stories. Like, why do you think people are craving Knights of Old Republic or the Old Republic in movie form? Because it's something different. It expands across like thousands of years. So much different shit has happened. Like, they could start all over, start from scratch, and go to the very first lightsaber. Was it one of the fucking little pack and shit? And work their way up. Like, there's so much content, and they don't have to just keep living in the past.
Yeah.
All right, that's my rant.
No, I'm with you there, and we do have a chatter there, so Mr. Perez there, and I agree with he has to say there. So it seems to be that the anime creators like Star Wars but don't know much about it besides the movies and their timeline, and admit it. Like I said, there was obvious disconnections between what was in Visions, and I guess because I like really cool, different looking lightsabers, I can admit that maybe I'm getting fanboy hooked in there a little bit. Yeah, like he's saying, it didn't really grow upon the mythology and the spirituality of the Force. I don't know about that. Maybe I think it was just subtle. And Tatooine Rhapsody,
more character focus.
Sure, absolutely.
Like, here's some Star Wars sprinkled in, but here's characters that you'll learn to like. Like, and I think that's why it worked so well.
Yeah. He goes on to say Tatooine Rhapsody, which is the episode 2, the one I'm saying that you can just forget about. He's saying that he likes that one. Wants to know the backstory of the Jabba band. But then, buddy, you're losing me. GT was fire, better than Super. I like GT, but not better than Super. Anyway, thanks for thanks for watching the show and chatting us up. Thank you.
I think you're the only one on the show that actually likes GT.
I think so. But that's okay. That's okay. I can be on an island there. All right. Well, let's talk about, since we'll have plenty of time here, let's talk about the What If series. Let's kind of check in there. Again, I know, Volsker, you're not caught up there, so I don't want to give too much away, but I'm going to kind of spoil the end scene of the last episode.
Yeah, by the count, that seems like the only thing that everybody was raving about. Other than that, the general consensus was trash.
Yeah. Oh, you're very welcome there, Bobby. It wasn't trash. It was just, I don't know. I half of my brain says, well, it's inconsequential. The other half says, but wait. So the question is,
Wait,
what
there's
if? Wait, there's. So this is what if Odin did not adopt Loki. Instead, he gives Loki back to his father. So Odin grows up to be a single child. And this basically makes him party boy Thor.
Okay.
Okay, the parent Odin goes into Odin's sleep. Freya goes off to some tea party. Odin then immediately uses the Bifrost to go to Earth and just this huge party. It's like, yeah, it's like, you know how in the Avengers they're introduced to, that's kind of where everything breaks up, or Thor's first appearance is where in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that's like, oh my god, aliens and shit. Well, this is just times 1,000. He's just being completely reckless, but somehow he knows the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, there's just all these characters that come later in the MCU. They're somehow all acquainted with Thor, partying on Earth with the humans. Loki's there, but he's in frost giant form. And when I say frost giant form, it's not just like blue skin. He's like a giant. Anyway. And then obviously the Earth is not like taking kindly to this. So Thor is basically being treated as a threat, but they can't do shit about it because it's Thor. This causes Nick Fury to use the Captain Marvel pager early. So the big fight in this episode is Thor versus Captain Marvel.
So basically, it's just a fight. Thor's trying to rock out with his cock out, and Earthlings don't like it, and they think
and Shield's trying to shut it down. Yeah, and he's really not. He's just like, no, I'm trying to kick back here. So anyway, that gets resolved. But so the big thing in this, and this is what's making me think I may be getting my wish of these all kind of converging together, is at the end of this episode, Ultron comes through a portal. An Ultron that is adorned with all the Infinity Gems. Then his face pops open to reveal its vision inside. Yeah. And kind of what is of note here is that there's like no Tony Stark or Iron Man in the episode. So like, I don't know. And then you've got like a vision inside an Ultron. It's like an Iron Man Ultron thing going there. So I don't know. Very weird.
Interesting. They're just making very, very Vision like just fucking evil as hell. Go back to like the zombies. What?
Yeah. Have you even seen the zombies yet?
Yes, that was the last one I watched. I haven't seen last week's, the Tony Stark being saved.
By Killmonger, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of the zombies? I know that's your shiznit.
I liked it. I don't think they did the comic justice.
You don't think it justice? You don't? Yeah, I mean, I get it because it's one. I mean, obviously, it doesn't follow the storyline, right?
No, not at all. Because the comic actually, the Fantastic Four helps cause the issues because of Richard's teleporter. Comes in the infection. What's cool about the comic though is while they're getting that hunger and that thirst, they still have their consciousness and they can use their
Mm-hmm.
powers. So you have like Spider-Man web sling trying to protect people while his fucking like face is falling off and stuff. Like this just made
Yeah.
them dumb, stupid zombies, unless it was Wanda, which somehow she could, kick in and use her powers. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it was good. I'm glad they did it, but I would love for something to come off of the actual comic if possible.
Is it sus to you like it is to me that Vision keeps on popping up in the show and kind of being on the, I don't want to say sinister side, but moral ambiguity side? So first he's keeping the Wanda zombie alive, and then he's popping up as like an Ultron. I don't know. I'm their treatment of Vision is sus.
A little bit, yeah. It's a little crazy because it kind of makes you just wonder, like, was he only how he was because Wanda was alive and was there to make him grow?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like she's gone or dead in all these other timelines, and he's just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Which, I mean, she's got some stability problems herself, so that's
Bobby,
what.
I agree with you on that. That's definitely not clear, but I'm taking each episode as they are what if for that universe. So each one is
Yeah.
their own universe. They just happen to be centered around the MCU we know, and just kind of tying in like little like, okay, this doesn't happen or this doesn't happen. This
Yeah.
causes all this. But I am taking it as a separate universe, which plays right off the whole Loki shit. Now we're back
But,
with hundreds of different versions.
and it's canon.
Yeah.
The what if stuff is canon. Whatever the
Yeah.
hell, whatever the hell that means.
It's just not what Earth 616 basically.
Right. Right. Which is, hey, I mean, that's, comic book shit too, so I get it. I will say though, the last one is probably the weaker. Like you said earlier, if it wasn't for that end scene there, I don't know if it would have,
Where's
held as much
Wanda?
weight. Yeah. All right. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we're getting some Omega level news. I think
Got some
Volsker's going to be
dirty shit to
excited.
talk about. Yeah.
We certainly do. Yes, sirree. Look at your stupid nudge. You talk about news. We'll be right back.
Lies a story of ultimate conquest, a story of war.
Wanda Swan!
My name
A
is
story
Shea.
of a love
I am a
that
warrior
can
in
never
the land
be.
called Willis. Can you please help me restore the crystal so I can leave?
You may call me Willis, but you may not use my sword,
epic adventure of the
spells,
year
or magic without asking.
will never
They're
come to a
dangerous.
theater near you.
If you call,
Final
I'll explain.
Fantasy
This is my
VII.
name.
Please call! Otherwise, I may become irritable.
The people of Ivalice are standing by to talk about Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, only on Game Boy Advance.
Rated E for everyone.
Final Fantasy VII.
Yes, we are back like a vertebrae. And with us, we bring some Omega level news. So, yes, Variety says The Witcher is renewed for season 3 and expands the universe with new projects. Now, this is your
Yes.
wheelhouse. You are the Witcher fanatic. How you feeling about the renewal before season 2 even comes out?
I'm fucking excited. So what I've been doing is like after season 1, I went back and read the first book. Now I want to read book 2 before season 2. And we had this, probably butchering it, but Netflix Tudum or whatever they did yesterday. It was like a 4-hour Netflix stream of just trailers and nerd conversations. And they were
Tudum.
throwing like tidbits of different shit. Cobra Kai, the Viking sequel. We got like 4 different trailers for Witcher, which was awesome. And I am super excited to see that them diving in to the dynamic of Ciri and Geralt after leaving what happened in the first, because I don't know if I told you this, but in the book, Ciri really doesn't actually debut or find Geralt until the second one. So that was actually changed because they felt that people wouldn't want to sit all the way through to find out that she never got to him. So they kind of made that change. Super fucking slick, that trailer where he's like, Ciri, get up. Get up. If you hear somebody, run. And she's like, why? And then all of a sudden takes his fucking elixir. Run! I was like, fuck yes. Like, it's just, I love it. And then they did the table read trailer for, was it New Blood or Bloodlines, which is a prequel, which is really cool. And then word that, yeah, shortly after that, it's already been renewed for season 3. And it's fucking great. We have the animated Vesemir movie. I still gotta peep that out. That was a prequel to this, because Vesemir is actually basically the father figure / trainer for Geralt that we will see in season 2.
And he's a big monster, right? That we saw. Well, I don't know, big, but he was like the monster-looking dude we saw in the trailer,
no,
right?
That's just a buddy. He's actually the old dude with the beard that looks like he'd probably walk around like a drunken Witcher. Yeah. I'm super excited. I'm glad Netflix is diving into this, because one thing that I've really, really enjoyed compared to, I mean, even major, like film companies, Amazon, all these, even Hulu and Disney, when Netflix takes a property and they treat it with care, the shit is fucking amazing. Daredevil, The Defenders, then I'm like really enjoy the Umbrella Academy. Then you have the Castlevania series, and then the like
Voltron.
they make yeah like it's nuts. I love it. I cannot fucking wait.
Yeah. Wife is excited for the season 2 coming soon, so we'll probably rewatch season 1 here in preparation.
Yeah. Bad news for all the
2.
ladies, though. They did say that there will be no Geralt tub scenes in season 2.
Why would you do that? I mean, no, why would you? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm looking forward to it. The wife, on the other hand, I do think is anticipating some Henry Cavill chestage, maybe some buttocks.
So they did say there's plenty of that. There's just not him inside of a bathtub this season.
Okay. Well, all right. There you go.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of Geralt and Yennefer going at it. Like, trust me.
It's one of those type of shows. All right. Well, I'm glad you're excited. I'm glad that you got some good news there. We're going to at least get another season and more.
Yeah, I mean, there's, 7 or 8 books? And then if they want to dabble with CD Projekt Red, they could go into the games. Like, they could easily take this, 10 to 15 seasons if they wanted to. Like, there's plenty of fucking content.
Yeah, I mean, Game of Thrones could have did that, but then the D's got a sniff of Marvel, so they hurried that up, pissed everybody off in that process. And
well,
then,
I mean, it also doesn't help the books aren't even done. The show was after the books, and then it was
yeah, which the books will never get done. I'm sorry for any of you fans; they're never getting the ending that HBO gave you that you hate with a fiery red passion is the Game of Thrones ending, and I'm sorry for that.
But you
I didn't hate
The Witcher
ending.
and show that support, guys.
There you go. There you go.
And let's be honest, Henry Cavill, I wasn't a huge fan of him because I shat all over this show. I was like, I hate his Superman. This is going to suck. Watched the first episode. I was like, holy fuck, this is fucking great. And then now they're basically all but confirmed he's replaced as Superman. Because they're doing, what is it? I can't remember. Is it Henry or whatever, the black Superman where he's the president in one of the other universe?
Oh, that's the Michael B. Jordan thing, yeah.
Yeah. So we need to show him support because that dude is like the king of fucking nerds when it comes to
Yeah,
Hollywood.
he really needs to be Cyclops in the MCU because Cyclops is the equivalent, and in some people's opinion, better than actually Captain America as far as just being a main moral leader. Maybe not always in
People
the
are
comics.
pushing
But
for him to be Wolverine, but I think he's too tall.
yeah, I mean, he is, but they obviously don't give a fuck about that because, Hugh Jackman's 6 foot. But
I
don't you
could see
think
him
that's...
using his Geralt voice as
Yeah,
Wolverine.
yeah. But I think we could actually use his stature in a Cyclops. I don't know. We'll see. Him, Keanu Reeves, we got to get some people. I mean, I want to see Adam Driver in the MCU. I mean, we gotta get this
I
going.
think is there anybody? I mean, it won't be great, but I mean, even Captain Britain, because he is.
Yeah.
He just uses natural accent.
Yeah, true.
I would like to see him. Him and Reeves definitely need some major roles in the MCU.
For sure. And there's a lot of characters to go around. A lot of characters. Some of them very, very old. And if we look at Variety.com, we actually see that Marvel is suing to block the heirs of some characters. Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Thor, Black Widow, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man. So what do you think about this? This is kind of interesting. So a long time ago, some guy making $100 a week employed by Marvel comes up with Iron Man or Thor. I know
Was was it? It's
yeah,
Stan
Kirby,
Lee's, like,
Stan Lee.
grandchildren, like, because it's their heirs. Like,
Right. So what do you think? Your great grandfather creates what is now the basis of $1 billion, operation, $1 billion business. Character he created, generates millions per year. Should I get any of the money?
The company at one point, like,
Yeah.
was not treated well. You know that better than anybody as a comic book fan. I mean, when you have the creator of Marvel go work for DC for a while, like, what does that fucking tell you?
Yeah. There's some
I'm split on this.
maltreatment going on.
Like, in today's standard, absolutely not, because their contracts, payment, like, and it's see, and that's what's weird because like, he created Marvel. Like, it wasn't like Disney did all this and then somebody's like, it's like that's what's so tough about this, knowing that you're you're a part of this family that created one of the biggest companies that will ever be on the face of this earth for nerdom, and you buy it, abuse some of your power at times, and then just go, oh, Stan Lee created us, we're Disney. Like, it's hard. Like, going back there, obviously they did this. He knew what he was doing when he sold it for billions of dollars. Like, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, it's like, times are different. I don't see that. Honestly, I don't see most of that shit flying in today's standard. But that's why we have that new that new indie company that these artists are going to,
Substack.
and that's how Image was created, because these companies, DC and Marvel, having you create something, use your vision, and go, that's ours. You'll just get paid, your $100 a book or whatever they get paid. Like, it's a fucked up business, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's interesting that you mentioned Substack because, I was thinking, as we're talking about this, like, well, this is, why people are just going to make sure their shit is structured differently because they see how these characters are now creating these millions of dollars in the original, or at least not the original, but the heirs of the original people, can't even get a cut. So, but it would seem, though, if you just create something like that you would get some sort of cut, or your heirs would. But
Let's
you're
think
right.
of
It's
Todd
what it
McFarlane.
is. Yeah.
If Todd McFarlane did not own the rights to Spawn, he would not be where he is right now. He has, like, I almost said Monopoly, but no, like, he has a dynasty with his character with there. Now Marvel's reprinting his omnibuses with his run on Spider-Man. He does these custom Marvel and DC figures and sells them. You know, I have Johnny Silverhands from Cyberpunk. Like, I doubt he would ever be anything like that if he didn't own the rights. And that's kind of going to, like, these creators. What did we were talking about recently? One of the creators, I don't think it was Suicide Squad. It was something that came out, and they were just like, he gets paid, he gets more in the royalties of doing, like, autographs and stuff than what he does in creating the fucking character for the comic.
Yeah, I can't remember
Like,
who that was.
Wait a minute. Wasn't it it was the creator of Winter Soldier.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. It's funny you
Like, and
mentioned
that's
Todd
the shit that
McFarlane.
sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you see how people get, screwed. Another famous, Alan Moore, the guy that, did the, of course, I can't remember the name of it was a movie, of course, as they all are now.
Talking about Watchmen?
Watchmen, there we go. He did that for DC back in the day, and and it wasn't a series; it was just a straight graphic novel. And they're like, okay, great. Well, once we stop printing this, you can have the characters back and do whatever you like and profit however you can. And they just never stop printing it.
Every 2 years they come out with a deluxe, a new version.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to reset our entire comic universes we're just going to bring the Watchmen in. Now, don't get me wrong, Doomsday Clock was actually pretty fucking good. I really liked it.
Yeah.
But you know what? Rorschach's dead. How do we make her? We're going to have a fake sit in his character. Like they just won't let it go.
Yeah. So, that made Alan Moore pretty bitter.
Yeah, I mean, do you blame the guy? Like,
no.
It's an iconic. Like, we wouldn't even have half the dark shit. Like, DC, I don't even think would be as dark and shit as it is right now. We wouldn't have Umbrella Academy. We wouldn't have, whatchamacallit, The Boys, if it wasn't for him doing a comp. Because that started, maybe we can have mature themed.
Yeah.
With Batman and DC, and it's really ridiculous when people are like that. It's saying shit wouldn't fly in today's standard, I'll tell you that.
Nope, they would not. And you're seeing, changes like that happening. Like I said, again, you mentioned the Substack, people just being more, guarding and not just selling out for the big two. Well, speaking of the big two here, let's go over to Marvel here for a little bit. So, CBR.com. Let me ask you, who do you think the strongest Avenger is there, Bolsker?
Oh, I would agree with the article. I mean, when you look... Okay, let me take a step back there.
Okay.
MCU? Wanda, Scarlet Witch all the way. Knowing what I know, when you have, like, World War Hawk...
Right.
The comics, I would absolutely say it's Hawk.
Okay. Yeah, I think, and I know that people like, I think it's Kevin Feige and others that wanted to latch on to this, well, Captain Marvel's like, king shit in the MCU, but per CBR.com, WandaVision confirmed the MCU's most powerful Avenger. WandaVision teased the potential of the Scarlet Witch's power. First, she made Thanos panic, and now she can challenge the strongest Avengers. WandaVision final set up a lot of elements that will undoubtedly pay off in the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. An example can be found after the credits roll. So basically, that scene where she's got the Darkhold and so this
in the cabin.
Right. So this article points out that for Doctor Strange to like do that phase shift shit he does with his body, like his body is incapacitated, yet Wanda can do that and her body can still do shit. So,
Which I mean makes sense because even
yeah.
in the comics, like, could he hold his own? I'd say absolutely. But I think Wanda would straight out just kick his ass.
Yeah, and of course, Agatha Harkness on WandaVision, tells her you're more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. You're magic on autopilot. Wanda has suffered enough loss by others in her life to render her mind an emotional minefield that also makes her incredibly dangerous due to her powers being tied so closely with her emotions. So we've got the No More Mutants shit that
I was about to
happened.
say, that sounds really, really interesting and familiar.
Another heroes who power, and you mentioned this person, who's tied to their emotions to the Incredible Hulk. Bruce Banner has only ever changed when he felt stress or rage. Typically that would yield destructive results and force Banner to live a nomadic life to spare innocence of his dangerous alter ego. While the Hulk's anger has been known to devastate a helicarrier or city block, Wanda's powers devastate reality itself. So
Okay. MCU, yes. MCU, yes. But while I haven't read it, I've heard like fucking Hawk can get angry enough to cause earthquakes smashing on the ground.
he can.
So comic book, like, no, I think magic, yes, but straight out power, the Hawk is, yeah.
Yes and no, and I know because you haven't read this yet. That's Trial of Magneto #2.
Yeah.
So once you read that, you may, and we may talk about that, but things might possibly be looking up for Wanda here. But nonetheless.
Wait a minute. I thought she's dead.
Oh, well.
Stay tuned for when we talk about it next Sunday.
Right. There you go. But in the MCU, she's king shit. So congratulations, Wanda Maximoff. You are the strongest Avenger.
Now, before we move forward, I'm going to toss this out at you. What is the #1 screw job you would say on a character in the MCU?
A #1 screw job?
Yeah.
Got me on the spot here. I guess, retconning an important part of your origin.
Okay.
Saying you're supposed to be a mutant, but you're not. And then they go to the comics and change it there because it doesn't match what's in the movies and they don't own your property.
Thank you, Fox.
But now Marvel owns it again, and do I think we may be getting Wanda Mutant Daughter Magneto back? I think so.
See, I would go to my #1 screw job is the fact that they made Hawk such a bitch in the MCU.
Yeah, I do tend to forget that. I really do, because, that whole first scene in Infinity War where Thanos just squares up on the Hulk like, don't think it's going down like that.
Yeah, he would need, he would need most of his gauntlet stacked to even, in a normal fight, go up against him at his angriest form.
Yeah.
And just to punch him and, that's... All right, rant done.
Bobby Perez says it's Cap. He says strongest mentally combined with physically. You know what? I would actually tend to agree. I will be honest with you. Captain America is, he's pretty cool. I don't know. Anytime he's in the X-Men comics, he's always got some cool shit to I don't know, that just is awesome. And he really does show a strong mental ability there. But I don't know. Wanda just fucks shit up, man.
Well, remember, Cap can also wield the hammer.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's true. All right. Well, I guess kind of in the Marvel wheelhouse, but not the MCU.
For what we know, not the MCU.
Right. So I'm just relaying this message here. We look at comicbookmovie.com. Venom, Let There Be Carnage star Tom Hardy asked fans not to share spoilers from the Marvel sequel. Which, yes, to me screams, okay, some sort of multiverse shit's going to happen here, and they don't want nobody to know about it until they go see it.
I mean, could it have anything to do with the leaked photo of him wearing a production hat of No Way Home?
Which is all fine and dandy, because you know that I hate on the Venom verse here, the Sony Venom verse, because it doesn't have anything to do with Spider-Man.
And see, and that's what's crazy too, because we're both in agreement. Like, in terms of Eddie Brock, like, he's an awesome actor. Like, he's fucking great. Your big beef is the fact that they basically just killed his fucking origin.
Yeah.
Like,
Killed his origin. Looks like they're going to kill Carnage's origin, because instead of the Carnage symbiote being an offspring of the Venom symbiote, the Venom symbiote wants to eat Cletus Cassidy, so he goes after him, and in the process, Cletus Cassidy bites Eddie Brock, and so he gets some of the blood symbiote, and boom, like, okay, let's say what happens, what we're saying here, that the big fucking spoiler to this movie is it's going to cross over, and Spider-Man and Venom are going to be in the same universe, or at least in the same vicinity. That doesn't fucking count. That doesn't erase the fucking history the two characters, Peter Parker and Eddie Brock, have. So, you're going to be...
Grace shows up.
Yeah. Oh, dear Lord. So you're going to be spoiling it for me. I'm sorry, Mr. Hardy, but I'm not going to see your movie. Unless Bolsker comes back and he says, D, you got to see this. There's this whole big fucking time thing, and it erased the last movie, and now Eddie Brock is working for the Daily Bugle. Like, no, unless, like, they totally go in there and nuke and pave, I'm not interested. Rant done.
It's Null. He's coming. So we'll have to wait 10 movies.
Like, yeah, 10 movies like we waited 2 years in the comics. All right, well, we're going to leave comics realm for right now, so let's get serious here. It's Super Mario time. And who's gonna voice Super Mario Brothers in this new animated pick? Well, it's gonna be Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is Mario. Charlie Day is Luigi.
Get over this.
Anna Taylor-Joy is Princess Peach, and more. Listen, I'm surprised at all the star power they got for the voice acting.
I mean, it's fucking Nintendo. Like,
we got Seth Rogen, we got Keegan-Michael Key, Jack Black, who is Bowser, I believe.
Yeah, he is Bowser.
Seth Rogen, Donkey Kong, Keegan-Michael Key is Toad. You know that's going to be funny. You know Toad's going to be the one, you're crazy. That's crazy, Mario. You know that's the Toad we're going to get. Jack Black is Bowser.
Luaga? Where's Luaga? It's
Luaga.
Luigi.
Yeah. Block A? Where's Block A at? Man, if one of you all give me one of these silly ass names.
Where's Bowser?
Jaqueline? Where's Jaqueline at?
God. That's gonna be so. I wonder if we're gonna get some like fucking Tenacious D theme music or something for Bowser or some shit.
Yeah, that would make sense. Although I don't see Kyle in here anywhere. I'm sure he'll be a cameo of some sort.
It's crazy because we know the infamous Super Mario movie. I hold a dear special place in my heart for, just the history and seeing it the first time with our grandmother over at the Twin Cinemas over here before it shut down over on the south side. And movie fucking sucks, but it's still funny just to peep in and watch every now and then. And ever since that basically happened, there was always like Nintendo refused to allow major motion pictures without their say-so and involvement. Well, what did we get at this new Nintendo briefing? It was, hey, we've partnered with Illumination Studios and we're making so it's like, and it just happens to be a full-blown Hollywood created because the cast is all American or
Mm-hmm.
like
Well, they get it. Yeah, no,
it's gonna be
that's a
crazy.
very wise decision by Nintendo. And that's why I think this is... Now, am I going to say I'm going to sit down and think this is great? No. But my fucking kids are going to love this. Kids are going to love this, okay? So we can poo-poo it all you want, or you can be like, oh, Chris Pratt is Mario. That's so fucking stupid. Which I do think it... But, you know, it's going to be...
He is funny,
very
though.
popular.
Like,
Yes,
I'm
he is
sure
funny.
he had to show that he had the chops before Nintendo
Yeah.
would put their stamp on it.
And let's just face it, man. Anything Nintendo does is quality. Like, I almost find it funny with this whole, like, oh, console wars. Who's going to win? Sony, Xbox. Blah. It's Nintendo. It's Nintendo. Every generation. Even, okay, maybe not the Wii U, although I enjoyed the Wii U. But Nintendo's the king. They make money right out of the gate with their systems.
Even their flop sell.
Right, even their flops sell. You know, their games
remastering
retain
all these-
value.
They're remastering all these $60 Wii games and they're being top
Yeah.
sellers.
Well, yeah. And then they're smart enough to say, oh, you got a Switch? Hey, guess what? Pay us $4 a month and you can just play a fuckload of old Nintendo and Super Nintendo shit.
Which they just announced will also now contain 64 and Sega Genesis titles.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's cool because like it's not even like you have to go in there and like search. Like literally you go in there and they're like, here's some new games. Like it's awesome. Nintendo has got that shit on lock, the video game industry. So
Oh, you're a member of our Nintendo Online? You get first dibs at pre-ordering $70 controllers so you can have an N64 and a Sega Genesis wireless with your Switch. Like it's I agree, yeah. And then what happens? They come out, oh, the Switch OLED's not going to sell. It's just a better screen. There's no power. It's a 5-year-old system. You can't fucking find them now. Their pre-orders are sold out, and it releases in 2 weeks. Like, that's what
Never
they
mind
do.
Pokemon. Never mind Pokemon.
A Pokemon, Pokemon company is like, yeah. If Nintendo sold everything but Pokemon, they would still be a billion-dollar company.
Right.
What?
Bobby Perez in the chat said it'd be hilarious if Nintendo did a live-action Mario with Japanese actors. It would be hilarious because the character is not exactly like modeled after Japanese. You know, he's like a
Would we have an
fat
issue that
Italian
they're
plumber.
Japanese washing then because it's a fat Italian?
That's
Which, by the way,
that's an interesting conundrum.
The original actor from the old 80s cartoon, you know, when the live actor before
Captain
it went
Lou
animated,
Albino, yeah.
He is cameoing, and they didn't say what, in this film.
Captain Lou's still around?
From what I read, it said the
man.
original.
Nice. Well, hell, I might actually... I'm sure I'll watch it because, you know, I have children that love Mario and all that is involved with it. Even when they're getting destroyed with a blue shell or something from me because they think they can beat me in Mario Kart, and they can't. I'm the god of death in that game. All right, well, I'm going to bitch about something before we go here. And that is on our last show, I believe. I went through this like list of leaked games that are being worked on. And one of them that got me really excited was Titanfall 3. And why I'm excited for Titanfall 3, quite simply put, is because Titanfall is a great fucking game. Titanfall 2 more specifically because it has a campaign mode, which is awesome, is great.
Very underrated.
Very
EA,
underrated.
I stand by my saying EA fucked Respawn with placing that literally 1 to 2 weeks after fucking Battlefield and then 1 to 2 weeks before Call of Duty. And what is the number one rated game out of that year? It was that. Why didn't it sell? Because Battlefield and Call of Duty, which is fucking rehashed every year, were the top sellers. If they would have moved it out of that month, that would have been a fucking hit. And what would we have by now? We'd be having a Titanfall 3. No, instead, we get Apex, which is just a fucking ripoff of PUBG.
Exactly.
But-
See, I thought I was going to rant, but you did it. Great. So yeah,
Pisses me off.
so
That game's fucking great.
it is. And so very excited to learn that there could be potentially Titanfall 3. Well, Respawn has squashed that. IGN.com says Respawn is working on too many other games to develop Titanfall 3. So besides for Apex Legends,
Star
which
Wars.
Star Wars what? What?
The sequel to the one that just came out. They're the ones that created it.
You're talking about the with the is that fucking
The Ginger.
Cal Kestis or whatever?
Yeah, that team's the one who created it.
Okay. You know what? That game was overrated. I've never said this to anybody. I played the game. I enjoyed it. Overrated. Okay? Star Wars
I thought
Force
it was pretty
Unleashed
damn
was
good.
It was good, but Star Wars Force Unleashed is better. I'm just saying. Just saying. But
It's two
okay,
games. One's
so
already
we
done and
have-
it's free to play.
right, Apex Legends already done free to play and the Star Wars shit. What other games would take precedence over Titanfall 3 that you know that as long as you don't fuck it over like like they did in Titanfall 2, you know that if you do a Titanfall 3, it's going to sell. Gangbusters, it's going to sell.
Have them create a Battlefield, to be honest.
I need
That's-
help.
Knowing EA.
I need help. There's something in reality that I seem to be missing, and I'd really like to be clued in, because I look at Respawn here with Titanfall 3. I look at Square Enix with Chrono Trigger, or hey, how about you make Final Fantasy good? Sony with Legend of Dragoon. Like, what type of world do we live in where you can look at something that you know is going to make millions of dollars and just not want to do it? What am I missing, Bolsker? What am I missing?
I don't know, because they came up and even said, after that was announced, Respawn's community coordinator said that they were working on too many games, but then, Respawn took to Twitter and said, on contrary, Titanfall is our DNA. We don't know what the future holds.
What? How do you not know? Well, I don't
Yeah.
know what the future holds. If the future holds is you're either gonna fucking make the thing and make money, or you're not. And if you choose I'm not, then I don't. Why?
It's what happens when you work under the fucking corporate umbrella called EA. You make what they want you to make. Oh,
Fuck
we'll just
them.
keep pumping out Apex and some season passes and shit. You can do a Star Wars game. To be honest, Respawn is created by the Call of Duty makers for the I can't remember the damn ones, but 1, 2, and 3. The
Call it Modern Warfare, or
yeah, Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. They're the creators of those games. And then they got fired and created the studio, and their first big project was Titanfall 1 for Xbox only, then Titanfall 2, and then now it's I feel it's whatever EA wants. And it's no different than like the shit that Blizzard and Activision do to all their studios. They said,
Yeah.
like, Blizzard and Activision said every one of their fucking studios that works under the Activision umbrella is working on a Call of Duty. Do we need every single one of your fucking teams
Yeah.
working on a Call of Duty? Why? So they can pump it out every single year. And that's what EA is going to do to Respawn. That's what Activision was doing to fucking Bungie with Destiny. That's what happens with these fucking companies. and it's annoying as hell because I'm right there with you. I would love a new Titanfall, or you know what? Go back and give us DLC. Keep Titanfall 2 alive.
Yeah.
You know,
Man, I'm gonna need to play that. Play that. It's really awesome. All right. Rant's over now. Omega level rants. Omega level
all
news.
day, every day.
I just don't get it. But anyway. All right. So Volsker, before we get out of here, any recommendations, plugs, anything like that you got before we go?
Honestly, not too much. Like as of lately, really the only thing I've been doing is I'm almost wrapped up with Deathloop. Pretty cool. PS5 if you want it. Um, I do like the kind of the Everloop kind of you die, you can recollect it. It's a little bit more gamer friendly. To those instead of what the hell are they called, the fucking I can't think of them, but the ones that like you spend 5 hours to get through an hour section of a 2 hour game, like you just keep
Yeah.
dying and shit. Um, and outside of that, I did wrap up the Injustice comics. That was really cool. Not a fan of where Injustice 2 left off because it was literally just stopped. Like there was no ending. It just stopped.
Yeah.
But then they were teasing some potential Injustice 3 announcement a few months ago, so I wonder if they're going to continue the story that way. But honestly, some of the best shit that I've read, really fucking sweet. And outside of that, that's really pretty much it.
All right, cool. Well, I will definitely recommend Trial of Magneto, and that's written by Leah Williams. Doing a great job there. Very, very interesting story so far. I haven't read the X-Men yet. The X-Men 3, I haven't read that yet. I'll probably do that tonight. Outside of that, obviously, serious shit, man. That Star Wars Vision, I just fucking loved it. So, Volsker, finish that shit and know that it just keeps getting better. And everyone else, go check that out if you haven't. It's more than just silly lightsabers. Also, superheroespeak.com, where you'll see some reviews by me. And make sure you're following us on Twitter at Omega Level Nerds, and it will have a link to our YouTube. So if you are listening on Podbean or the Apple Podcast app and you want to see our faces, get more intimate, chat with us, like Bobby chatted with us today, right?
You like Bobby.
He's having fun. I'm having fun. You can have fun. And then you tell 20 other people. And then I'll actually start working on more impressions. Anyway.
Oh, like your Juggernaut?
Yeah.
That was still the great fucking thing.
Yeah, I need to do more shit like that. Or I need to get a Colossus get up going, something.
Flappy man titties.
Yeah, your man tits flapping in the wind, ain't they, boy? I can hear them flapping.
I got this new suit. I love it. It's tight.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was on that night.
Oh, it was great.
Outside of that, though, we are, of course, continuing our Dragon Ball Z abridged reaction. Just uploaded the latest episode today, and we will have more for you then. Again, that profile is on the Twitter there at OmegaLevelNerds.com. Please like and subscribe if you've checked us out here on the Omega Level Omega Level Nerds YouTube channel. Let us know what you think. Did you like Star Wars Visions? Are you digging What If? Are you excited for The Witcher? If your great-great-grandfather created a character and now that character creates millions of dollars of revenue per year, should you get a cut? Let me know what you think. Okay. We actually still have people on the stream. Surprising. All right, I'm out of here, guys. We are out of here. Thank you so very much. We'll see you on the next Omega Level Nerds. Until then, peace and love. Talk to you again soon.